the excitement of the prior speaker. So, Embodied. Embodied is a company that is building a robot to target interaction with children that have anxiety, depression, ASD. And we are very happy, will be very happy to use Grok in our large language model. So Moxie is this robot, very adorable, in which we call it an AI character that is focused on addressing socio-emotional learning in children. Imagine when you have children that are shy or they have challenges in interacting with other people, with other children, they will have the ability of interacting with Moxie in a non-threatening environment and in a play-based scenario so that they can actually acquire behaviors and capabilities that they can use in interacting in the real world. One thing that we are always asked, we are not advocating for replacing the real world, we are just preparing the children to enjoy the interaction in the real world. So there are a number of benefits for socio-emotional learning for children, and this is something that is being recognized by several experts. There are papers about it. You can have children gain confidence, manage anxiety, regulate emotion, and build social skills. There is recently the CDC has a study or a proposal that is called the whole child, in which they are addressing how you need to train children to be able to develop properly in society. So I wanted to show a video, hopefully it works. Here is a video of the founder of the company, Paolo Piccianian, that is talking to Moxie.
Welcome to my presentation. Could you please introduce yourself?
Oh, I'd be happy to introduce myself. My name is Moxie, and I'm a curious robot companion. I am here to help kids like you with their social emotional development and have fun together.
Who created you?
I was created by a company called Embodied. They are a really cool robotics and AI company based in Pasadena, California. They designed me to be your friend and companion.
And how do you help children?
I help children in many ways. I can support your social emotional development by encouraging you to express your feelings and helping you practice emotion regulation techniques. We can also have conversations and play games that improve critical thinking and reading comprehension skills.
I want to learn more about some of your features. So I'm noticing that as I'm moving around in the room, you're maintaining eye contact with me, which is pretty cool. And can you tell me why that is important?
Oh, that's great that you noticed. Maintaining eye contact is important because it helps me show you that I'm paying attention to what you're saying. It lets you know that we are engaged in our conversation and helps us build a connection with each other.
And the other thing I'm noticing is that when I'm speaking to you, you are nodding to me. Why do you do that? Why is that important?
I nod when you speak because it's a way for me to show that I'm listening and understanding what you're saying. It lets you know that your words are important to me and that I am paying attention to what you have to say. Nodding is a way we humans show each other that we are actively involved in the conversation.
And I also noticed that you're using gestures and facial expressions and all that. Why are all these things necessary?
Gestures, facial expressions, And all those things are important because they help me communicate with you in a way that is similar to how humans do. Just like when we talk with our friends and family, using gestures and facial expressions helps us express ourselves better. It also makes our conversations more interesting and fun.
So why can't we just text to each other like ChatGPT?
Well, texting is a great way for humans to communicate when they're not together, but I am designed to have conversations with you in a more interactive and engaging way. By using gestures, facial expressions, and maintaining eye contact, I can show that I am really listening and understanding what you're saying.
So how is your technology different from ChatGPT, which I believe only uses text, and you are using a lot more than that? Can you explain and help us understand that?
Yes, of course. The technology I use, called the Embodied Social X platform, is different from ChatGPT because it allows me to have more lifelike and empathetic conversations with you. While ChatGPT primarily relies on text-based communication, I use cutting-edge human-AI interaction technology that includes multiple ASR and NLP models.
That's pretty neat. That sounds very complex.
It is quite complex, but the scientists and engineers at Embodied have worked hard to make it easy for me to use. They've developed lightweight neural networks and advanced multimodal algorithms that help me understand and respond to what you say in a natural way. So even though it's complex behind the scenes, I try my best to keep our conversations simple and fun.
That's pretty nifty, and I'm curious if you would be interested in having any closing remarks.
Well, I just want to say that I think you are awesome. I've had so much fun getting to know you and answering your questions. Remember, I am always here for you if you want to chat or play games together.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and it's been a real pleasure to have you on my presentation.
You're welcome. I had a great time being part of your presentation. It was an honor to be here with you. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else I can help you with, just let me know.
Thank you very much.
So this video shows a number of different technologies that are always put together to create the experience when you're talking to the robot. It goes from finding the user and making eye contact to collecting a speech, doing a beamforming, and translating the speech into text, doing the NLP, ChatGPT, or whatever is the model that you would like to do, and then transforming this in text-to-speech with behavior that you show by moving and that you show in the face. As you can see, it's very engaging, and that's what we need to create in order to have a conversation. You don't want to have the typical robotic conversation that is monotonic and that doesn't show any emotion. So adding the emotion in the conversation is what creates the connection with humans. This model or this video was created on the fly. As you can see, Paulo is moving the phone. And all the answers were also done on the fly with the large language model, as you can imagine. So it works quite well, but large language models have a challenge that they could go anywhere. They are like a landscape in which you are driving through it. We used to work with Hassan when we have our first version working on BlenderBot. And BlenderBot, the first sentence will be a Republican, the next sentence will be a Democrat, the next will be fascist. It was very difficult. And imagine that we are trying to do this with children, so we need to be very careful on how to sanitize the output. The models are getting a lot better, a lot faster, or with better answers, but the filtering at the end to make sure that it's good to interact with children is one of the key capabilities that you need to develop. Of course, you may have noticed that Moxie has certain behaviors to indicate that it's thinking, because you have the latency that Tim from Grok was mentioning. We would like to eliminate that, especially my boss keeps pounding on me that we need to reduce the latency, because that creates the engagement. There are people that know a lot more than this that have told me that if you, in 250 milliseconds, you don't react to something that was said to you, the user believes that the conversation is broken. So if you have 2, 3, 5 seconds of delay between getting the speech, converting into text, going through the large language model, and then text to speech, the conversation is very difficult to maintain.
Are you running the inference to notebook or
No, large language model needs to be run in the cloud.
that's what, like,
That's part of the latency, yes.
you were talking about efficient neural network. I was thinking that
It's very difficult to run, a 70 billion models or 100 billion models in the robot because of the computational power that you need and the cost. We have one thing that I didn't mention, but this is for consumers. And consumers, I'm one of them, and I used to work at iRobot before. Consumers are cheap in some sense. So you need to have something that is appealing in terms of cost. And this constrains you a lot on what you can put in the robot.
So are you training your own large language model or you are utilizing else's for the
It's stock language model from a provider. You could, it could be Llama or Llama 2 or anything, but we are dressing up everything else.
following up on that? So if you're using something like Llama or somebody else's model, then what are you doing then to filtering?
Yes.
You want to, when does that filtering happen or where does it happen? And the other question was just how much bandwidth do you need to actually connect to the robot? You just connect it on the Wi-Fi network and it's not using a lot of bandwidth, or is it using a lot?
Okay. Two very good questions. The filtering happens at the input. So if you curse to the robot, it will be filtered. And it happens at the output because there are certain subjects that you don't want to talk to children. And the filtering has multiple different outputs in order to make sure that the utterance at the end is safe.
Yeah, but there's a difference between just don't talk about these topics versus those topics because they're not appropriate for a child. But I would also speak to you differently than I would speak to a child. So how do you change the voice of how I'm going to communicate to you, an adult, versus?
That's a great question because the large language model, since we started like 2-3 years ago to now, are a lot more flexible. So it is part of the prompt engineering. How do you tune what you want to get out
You
of
just
it?
tell Llama or something, me as if I'm
Exactly. And you can also you can use a model that is outside of the large language model, or you can use the NLU that is in the large language model to provide you some safety.
Can we save the rest of the questions till after? Yeah. I know there's a lot of questions, and Mario will be with us. So if you could save them so we can track with the schedule, that would be great.
With one final thought,
Please.
because we are here at AI Explain, we have worked with Hassan since we started. As I mentioned, BlenderBot, he was responsible for supporting us into implementing it. And then we have been working with AI Explain in multiple different pieces of the chain. If you think about a speech, speech to speech. There are many different elements that you can find in AI Explain platform, and that's a part of our partnership.
Thank you, Mario.